What's up, YouTube? Welcome to another video. Today is August 24th, 2023, and it's a bit of a special video today. There's been lots of kind of chaos going on in the markets, and especially like there's new developments here about the housing market, especially. And I wanted to kind of get into um, basically the housing market. Quick disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor. Please do your own research before making any investment decision like buying gold or this beautiful silver bar here, or investing in any of the stocks I discuss, following any of the strategies that I discuss on this channel. The channel is for entertainment purposes only. So if you like the video, please subscribe. Check out my website, My Road to Wealth and Freedom. It's in the link in the description below. If you want to buy gold and silver, I got a link to Silver Gold Bull. They're who I use for the majority of my straight kind of bullion purchases. They price match. They do all sorts of stuff. Great secure shipping. Help out the channel. I got links to Amazon for all sorts of stuff. Okay, my promo bit is done, guys. Now I'm going to move on and discuss. First of all, gold's today trading about 1945. It's up from probably up about $30 from my last video. Silver's kind of at 24.18, so up just about $1.50 or something like that since I last did my last video. Markets have been weak, and it looks like they're kind of rolling over. We got the BRICS meeting in South Africa. We have Jackson Hole happening. Everyone's expecting, something from the Fed to, from Powell to come out and say maybe he's close to being done or done, sort of a dovish sort of thing. Of course, we're, as gold and silver investors, we are waiting to hear about the possible BRICS currency and what shape or form that might look like. There was rumors that it was going to be gold backed. I have kind of doubts about that. Maybe, maybe not. Who knows? It's definitely not a reason to buy gold or silver based on, kind of hearsay. Why do we buy it? We buy it to protect our purchasing power. We buy it as a form of wealth insurance, so that, if our houses decline in value, if our stock portfolios get wiped out, and bonds, at least we have something tangible to fall back on. At least that's why I do it. That said, today's episode or today's video, I wanted to really talk about the housing market. When is it going to roll over? For months now, I've been reporting to you guys or reading things. Homeowners are stretched. They're being squeezed by high prices at the pump, at the grocery store. Interest rates are starting to bite. Here in Canada, we have two types of mortgages: a fixed rate mortgage, which I believe the vast majority of fixed rate mortgages are about 5 years, although you can get them 7 to 10. But I remember checking years ago, when we were at low interest rates, you'd get a variable rate for under 2. And if you want to lock in for 10 years, it was 4. I think 7 years was 3.5. The vast majority of people who purchased in the last 5 years in Canada, at least, probably went variable. Variable rate mortgages are mortgages that the payment increases as the central bank raises their overnight rate. Banks follow suit and pass the cost on immediately to the homeowners, the people with the mortgages and stuff like that. Fixed rate, if you took a 3-year, 5-year fixed rate back in 2020, you're good for another, 2 years probably until it comes due. If you took one back in 2018, this is your year. This is when it's coming down. Some people took 3-year fixed and stuff like that. So these people are having to renew, and I know, I have family members who are in this exact same spot right now. They renew, or they did their thing in 2018. Now it's up for renewal. It went from like a 3% interest rate to 7 or 6.5. Their carrying costs of the homes are astronomical. I'm reading tons of stuff online about how many people have written into newspapers or online forums saying, hey, you know what, we had a mortgage of $2,300 for our beautiful home. Now it's $5,200 the monthly carrying cost. How have banks responded here in Canada? Well, what they've done is they first off, they extended amortizations. In some cases, just anecdotal evidence, I've heard they've gone to as much as 70 and 80-year amortizations. Now, that is at the extreme. I suspect the vast majority, most people probably took 25 to 30 years amortization periods, and that's being extended out to maybe 40 or potentially even more. The next step that banks have done, if you can't afford to pay the extra now, they will just, whatever you can't pay will be added onto your mortgage outstanding principal balance. So you're essentially paying interest on interest. It's building in the background. And I believe personally that the banks were under pressure to do this by the government and the regulators because they do not want a full-blown housing market meltdown on their watch anyway. And then the second reason, I think, is they feel maybe that these higher interest rates are a short-term blip, that the inflation will ultimately prove transitory. The interest rates, the higher interest rates will ultimately prove very transitory. They'll come right back down. It's just a matter of getting inflation under control, get it back down to 2% or lower, and we are good to go. Reality check, inflation is much, much stickier. We are seeing all across the board. I saw UPS workers. I think it was American Airlines or United, one of the airlines. Everybody's negotiating higher wages, higher salaries, higher raises, and that's a wage price spiral developing, and that is not going to lower inflation. I was just at the grocery store. Price of olive oil is up 50% in the last 2 years. The vast majority of groceries have increased, astronomically. Let's say anywhere from 50 to 300% or something insane. Those prices aren't coming back down. Inflation goes back down to 2%. Well, you're still going to be paying, $3 a loaf or $4 a loaf of bread. And, these prices are here to stay. The damage is done. It's been reset. Regardless, that's just kind of my thoughts. You can agree or disagree, but so then the next piece of it is the longer this thing goes on, homeowners, on this treadmill of ever increasing debt at ever higher interest rates, it's knocking out discretionary spending. It's people are racking up credit card bills just to live life. And looking back on it, I remember, people saying like, "Oh, why would you want to pay off your mortgage? Interest rates are so low. Like you can get a better return in the NASDAQ or, whatever, buy rental property, do whatever." And it's just someday, if ever interest rates were to rise, I always felt that there's going to be a lot of carnage out there. And I do think, houses have been overvalued for at least a decade here in Canada. And it had a blow off top post-pandemic. And now, everything just appears exhausted. Home prices, they may be holding in, or they may be proving a bit more resilient and stronger than anticipated. However, I believe that is a complete function of banks not foreclosing on people who are in default. That's really what this is all about. These homeowners cannot afford to make their mortgage payments. They are in default. But anyway, it doesn't change a thing. It just maybe delays the reckoning. And when it happens, people are going to be absolutely destroyed. And it's too bad. It's too bad that it got this out of hand. It's too bad. And for our part, we have Mr. Trudeau saying that it's not the government's responsibility to deal with housing. And okay, but you're bringing in, last year you guys brought in 1 million immigrants. I'm not against immigrants or anything like that. It's fine. It's great. However, when we have a shortage of homes And, they are doing everything to kind of prop up that market by bringing more and more people in, because we have this demographic issue of too many boomers downsizing, and it's just wreaking havoc. And I think what we're going to see in the next clip will be really eye-opening. I hadn't really thought about this. I'd heard of some fires. I've been checking some things out, doing some research into it. But a lot of new homes or new home developments are experiencing what I think is arson. Plain and simple. It's happening at too many different new home building sites to be pure coincidence. And I think this is a serious and growing problem that's kind of hidden away in the everything is okay in the housing market narrative that the mainstream media would have us believe. Everything is not okay. I do think we are headed for a severe and prolonged downturn and correction as a result of sky-high prices and values of assets that have just been goosed by 15 years of low to 0% interest rates. That's the story. This is a huge housing bubble in Canada, and we're not alone, but that doesn't change the fact. If everyone's going to die and drown or whatever, I don't care that an Australian's in the same boat as me, someone from the UK or Sweden, or that doesn't matter whatsoever. That doesn't make me feel better. And I feel that's just kind of like this sort of, oh, well, like, I guess we're all screwed and this and that. Well, I look back to things like the Depression and the hyperinflation in Germany and Austria in the early 20s and that. And it's like, yeah, everyone was kind of screwed together. Did that make anybody happier at the time? No, they were ruined. They faced hard times. They struggled. And again, when all of this stuff washes out, when these homes revert to the mean, I shudder to think where that's going to leave people. It's just too bad. Personal finance definitely should be taught in school. People need to understand and to save and invest, to learn about different asset classes like gold and silver, to protect themselves in all financial scenarios. So I'm not trying to sensationalize, what I'm about to kind of show you guys, but it is kind of a disturbing trend. And I haven't checked if other kind of places in Canada are experiencing similar things. That this is just Ontario. It's Canada's largest province. And it's in kind of the greater Toronto area and greater Hamilton area, I would say. But, it could very well be happening out in Vancouver. It could be happening in Halifax. It could be happening, God knows where, maybe Montreal. I don't know. But it's important to realize that, these are obviously extreme examples, but I feel like we're kind of trending towards these extremes. So without further ado, I'm going to present the material about these new homes burning, and write in the comments what you guys think of all this stuff. Yeah, so this is what we're looking at today, guys. I've been looking into these fires at new home constructions. Here you see this is just outside of Toronto. Fire damages 10 homes at New Oakville subdivision. This is June 21st. CBC, mentions it. Massive fire at Vaughan construction site destroys at least, I don't know, something. Let's see. What does it say? 20 new homes, okay? 20 new homes destroyed there. There's just tons. Improper welding. They're blaming improper welding. But there's suspicion that there's that this is arson, right? Fire destroys homes in Vaughan. That's the same one. I know there's some in Oakville. 53 houses burned in huge fire in Vaughan. Okay, 4 homes under construction and Mount Hope raised in fire. That's around Hamilton. So this stuff has been happening in Hamilton. This stuff has been happening like Oakville, Hamilton, Vaughan, probably Brampton, new homes fires. I heard of one in Burlington, and I actually took a trip out there. I'll show you some of that. This is inside Halton. Complete write-offs. Large fire in Burlington neighborhood destroys 6 homes. Yeah, so I took a visit out to this site today, and yeah, you can see there's these were townhomes, I think. It happened 4:30 in the morning. It's just all of this stuff is just too suspicious, too coincidental. Where's the other one? Here's another one 5 days ago. So this happened August 19th. Massive fire damages multiple homes in Burlington. So this is a few blocks away from that condo development, or from the townhome development that was just burned down. This, I believe about 10 homes were burned down. These are new homes, and you see Burlington Fire Department there. Just what is happening? What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? And there are people who believe that it's homeowners, people who bought these houses pre-construction. Now that you know, these were probably purchased, you know, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, right at the top of the market, right at the absolute top. And I remember, you know, thinking, you know, so many people are going to get burned when they buy at the top of the market. And now the homes are built. You know, these homes were probably $2 million or $1.5 to $2 million. Now the home builder is, I guess they're reducing some prices on unsold units, which is bringing the value of the existing homes down. You have people who bought these at the top. They're first being squeezed by record high interest rates. Regarding, like, you know, the last 20 years, you know, we have the highest interest rates in 20 years. At the same time, declining home prices. At the same time, banks are, you know, they're saying you got to kind of, you know, if you buy a house for 2 million and it's 1.5, it's getting reassessed lower, and the banks are saying, hey, you got to come up with the money for, you know, for what, you know, the contracted price. So people are just getting, you know, frustrated and angry, and I suspect the vast majority, it's just too much of a coincidence to have all these new homes start burning down. So I think, you know, it's people who've been burned, who have lost everything. Think about it, ladies and gentlemen. If you lose $500,000, you know, like, it's hard to recover from that. Most middle class people cannot recover from that. And keep in mind that people are already, you know, buying homes at a later stage in life. You know, you're looking at your mid to late 30s. Let's say you're buying a home like that, maybe even older. You know, how do you recover, you know, that much of a loss, and then be slapped with crippling mortgage payments? Yeah, it's sad, and unfortunately, I think this is going to continue to happen as more and more people are squeezed, or more and more people are just desperate. They're facing financial ruin, and this happens at the end of every bubble. So that's all I'm going to say about that. I do wish to show you guys a bit more, and we'll discuss this a bit more. What's up, YouTube? Here's this housing development. Over in the back is where the fire happened. I'm just gonna go around. see the fire. It even caught the trailer on fire. If you look back here, you can see all the damage done by the fire. And this is what it's come to, ladies and gentlemen. This is what it's come to. People are burning their houses down just to save money, or just they're angry at the builder for whatever reason. Check this out. Yeah, well, that's pretty crazy, guys. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe to my channel. Check out my website, My Road to Wealth and Freedom. Links down in the description below. I also got links to buy that gold and silver from Silver Gold Bull. I do think that this fall we're probably going to see some kind of reckoning. That might send gold in particular higher, silver too. But just would caution everybody. Just be cautious, you know, just be conservative. Make sure you have some cash on the sidelines to take advantage of what's to come. That's it for today, guys. Thanks.